Yo, what up? This is Sean Winchester. I've played in bands like Everclear, Buckcherry, Bow Wow Wow, and so on and so on. And you're listening to The Anthony Rogers Show.
You are now listening to the best show in the universe, The Anthony Rogers Show. You probably wish that this was your show, but it's not. It's The Anthony Rogers Show. Tell all of your friends to listen to this show.
My High is an innovative water-soluble THC product served in a pre-portioned stir stick that transfers any beverage, hot or cold, into a delicious hightail. It is clean, energetic, consistent, perfect entry-level product for any kind of consumer that wants to try cannabis. You're not smoking it, so it's more healthy. It's also on pineappleexpress.com where you can sample these for 1 cent in legal markets in California. I check them out. They have coffee ones. They have THC ones. They're badass. This episode is brought to you by Pure Fire Tonic. Pure Fire Tonic hot sauce is the most nutrient-dense hot sauce in the world. Made from complete unfiltered original Fire Tonic recipe. A delicious whole food blend of 20 organic ingredients. This special hot sauce is a rich, robust flavor. The everyday nourishing hot sauce. So go to purefiretonic.com, link in the description, and get some. Welcome back to the greatest show in the entire universe. Today we have a huge guest. Been in many of bands that you've probably heard of, and hate or love both probably. Sean Winchester, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Good. Let's go through a couple of the bands you're in for, like, people like just now coming across this podcast or whatever, for whatever reason. Like you played drums for Everclear, Buckcherry, Smash Mouth, Bow Wow Wow. There's like huge bands. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I love how you said, like, you either love or hate, but like, you either love or hate them, because that's pretty much like, you're drawing the line in the sand for them. I think Everclear would probably be the one that's like the most like, oh yeah. Like you could do that to that band, like, oh yeah. I know them. That's cool. But like, yeah, when you got like Buckcherry and Smash Mouth, it's just like, oh dude, that band is fucking weak. Or like,
or you love them. Or there's no like in between. There's no like gray area in those bands. Like, I don't think.
Yeah. Which I'm okay with that. I'm really okay with that, because I mean it's my fucking job, like it's my job. So like I just get to kind of chill while, the real rock stars are out there like wearing that shit on their chest, and like, they got to take the full brunt of all the hate,
I think it's just
nutty.
good marketing. Even being hated is good marketing. Like, people will be like, oh, I hate this successful person or something. It's just like, I don't know, it's still good marketing. Like, I personally think like Smash Mouth kicks ass. Like, I don't give a fuck what people say. Like people hate that band so much. I think that band kicks ass, honestly, man. Like,
oh man,
well,
well, like,
as fuck, like,
I will admit that like I didn't give them too much of a thought before having to dive into their catalog and like learn a bunch of tunes, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh man, do I like them? I'm like, I think I like them. And then when I got to hang out with them and like play shows with them, I'm like, oh dude, I really like them. Like, they're just like the dopest, like NorCal, like surfer dude, like laid back, like real guys. And like, they're sweethearts, they really are. So I'm happy with that.
No, it's crazy. They write really catchy fucking music, and I think like it's fun. I think it's fun to shit talk stuff. Honestly, like I would make fun of Smash Mouth, but I still listen to them. You know what I mean? It's one of those, I like Walking the Stone was a great album. Like, fucking, like, that was. I mean, they had some fucking like I don't know, interesting shit, man. Like, honestly.
Yeah. I like to, no matter what I listen to, no matter how much I love anything, I will come up with the shittiest version of their lyrics as possible. Like, I'll just sit there and I'll go, "Blade is kind of gun under gun." And the planet, like, and just like be a dickhead, because if you take yourself too seriously, then you're an asshole,
That's true. You were playing drums young? Like, how old were you when you were playing drums, I guess? Like, when you started, I guess?
So like I had a brief stint in 4th grade as a snare drummer, and I really loved it, but being a psycho ADHD kid, I just kind of fell away from it, and then got back into it around high school. That's when I got my first drum set after being like in so much trouble that my parents didn't know what to do with me. Kind of vibes.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. If I can see that from your like energy, it's funny. It makes a lot of sense. Like,
yeah. It's not like I was it's not like I was a mean kid. I just really like you couldn't rein me in like unless I was doing something like playing the drums. You know, I just couldn't stand school, and I couldn't stand authority a lot of the time. So I just needed to get in trouble.
yeah, it's interesting, man. Like, that's great. That's a long time to play drums. So you're just talented and you try out for all these bands. Like, you're just like better than like a lot of people trying out. You've been playing forever, probably. That makes sense. Like, got a lot of time in and stuff. You play like a lot. I feel like you've accomplished like 7 dreams or something. You know, like a lot of people are like, man, I want to play for like one band or this band to open for me. Even they have like all these like everyone in bands have like all these kind of like interesting like things. I think you accomplished like a lot of them, man. Honestly, like a lot of those bands are huge, man. Like,
yeah, like it's really strange. Man, I mean, like, you know, I never thought in my wildest dreams that I'd get to travel the world like with one band, let alone 3 or 4 bands, like getting to see some places that like, because I didn't come from money like at all. I was raised in a suburban town, but like my parents didn't have any money, and I didn't have any connections in the music industry, and I didn't know anybody. And so at this point in the game, it's really you know, nutty to think about that. I really appreciate you actually kind of like laying it out for me like that, because a lot of the times I'm so in my own head and I'm so hard on myself that like I don't give myself a chance to be happy about it, you know, to be honest with you. So I you know, thanks, man.
well, I think that's how a lot of people get there. Is like they criticize themselves a lot and just keep going. Like if you feel like you made it, you'll never keep going. You know, but you do have to celebrate sometimes. It sounds like I don't know, but like that's crazy. It's like all those bands. I could have named one of those bands that would have been like crazy. You know, that's like that's an impressive resume, man. Like that like these bands that like are stood the test of the time since the '90s. I mean, a couple of. Well, I mean, some of them are. What's Bow Wow Wow? I remember that fucking band name, but I can't remember what their song or whatever. Like.
Dude, they were from the 80s. They were I Want Candy, man.
I thought they were older. Yeah, I was wondering. That's crazy. That's
yeah,
crazy.
that one to this day is still one of my like my prized possessions. Like and like me and the bass player are still great friends, and his name's Lee Gorman. He started that band, and like, you know, to know, that's another one of those bands where I knew I Want Candy, and I'm like, well, that's a weird thing. And I was like, you know, my buddy Dylan Howard, who he's a great drummer as well. You know, he's played in some love 'em or hate 'em bands too. Dylan Howard played in Unwritten Law, and then he played in the band Trapped. And he's also been playing in like Save Ferris a bit. And you know, like he's the one who was like, hey man, I can't do this Bow Wow Wow tour in the UK. And I'm like, what is this band? And so I go and check out their whole backstory. And I mean, dude, these guys are like post-punk legends. Like they're the ones who really sparked a lot of like the you know, kind of like post-punk movement, like No Doubt and Red Hot Chili Peppers. And like those guys, like they will talk about Bow Wow Wow like they are gods. And so when I started playing with them, I was in Las Vegas, and freaking Vinnie Paul of Pantera, he goes and checks out the show, right? And like his publicist comes backstage, and she's like, hey, Vinnie Paul from Pantera's here, and he would really like to meet the drummer of Bow Wow Wow. And I look at the singer and the bass player, and I'm like, guys, like, is that okay? And they're like, yeah, Sean, go ahead, mate. Like, go do your thing. And so I'm like, oh my God. So I go and I walk out, and there's Vinnie drinking Jack and Coke, like as usual. Or no, he'd be Crown and Coke. So, and I sit next to him, and he's got a whole entourage, and they're looking at me like, who the fuck is this kid? Like thinking that I want an autograph or something. And then he just goes, bro, you tear it up, dude. And I was like, shut up. Like the drummer of Pantera just told me that I tear it up. Like I couldn't believe it. So like, I mean, dude, yeah, you know, I don't know. I live day to day, and like I don't, you know, I don't wear that stuff on my sleeve. Like I'm not an egotistical guy, but I mean, I've got stories for days, you know, about all this stuff, and you know, I can't believe it a lot of the times.
That's crazy, man. To be, like, yeah, you have to be humble to keep being successful. I think that's the key. in like any industry, man, honestly. But so like what's like the I guess like the tip, kind of cheesy question, but like what's like the craziest story you have like with this experience so far?
The craziest story. Oh man, that's I love that you just go straight for the craziest story. Oh my God. I guess it would like I don't know. I like telling the one about how me and the twins, Jesse and Justin Bavona, they're now in the band The Interrupters. Do you know The Interrupters?
I know the name. I'm kind of like stupid right now. I'm kind of like so.
Yeah, so they're like really blowing up under Tim Timebomb's record label Hellcat, and like and so they're like a cool punk ska kind of band. And but anyways, they were the rhythm section for Sugar Ray on my first big tour, in the Summerland tour with like Sugar Ray and Gin Blossoms and yeah, who am I blanking on right now? Marcy Playground and Lit, and that's when I was in Everclear. And so we were headlining, and I made really good friends with Jesse and Justin, and I still love the guys. And like, so we commandeered some golf carts, and I was holding an entire bottle of wine, and this was on the grounds of the first Woodstock. And it was after a show, and it was pitch black. And so all we could see were was right in front of us, from like, you know, the golf cart headlights. And they basically just let us rip around the original Woodstock fairgrounds. So like we were just like, you know, doing donuts and almost tipping over and like drinking and going like absolutely bananas. And then we like kind of screeched to a halt right back when like the security finally realized that we stole their golf carts. And then we just got back onto our tour buses and left, and none of us got in trouble. It was like totally insane.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious, man. That's a shit ton of bands on that bill too. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. It's really unbelievable. I just love that I'm talking to a guy right now with a Hawaiian shirt, and like you look like you're in ZZ Top, and like, and your background is just killing me right now. Like, I'm really glad I'm having this conversation with you. It's so funny.
No, yeah, the podcast is a great excuse to talk to like awesome people all the time, man. It's crazy. Like, and this is a real beach behind me. It's like it's digital, but it's real.
Like, as in, is it a loop or is it actually like real time video?
It's a loop. It keeps.
I mean, I'm not sitting there staring at it, so I can't see when the loop starts back over. So like, yeah.
People listening on audio are gonna have no fucking clue what we're talking about. They'll be like, what are they talking about? Only YouTube viewers are gonna know now. So that's fucking crazy though, man. Like, and like you said, you played.
Wait. I got another story. I got another one. If you don't mind. You want me to tell another story? No,
I definitely would enjoy it.
So another story was, okay, this is takes the cake for like, it like pinch me if like, because I don't know if I'm dreaming or not, because this would be a dream that I would have. So I did the musical by Fat Mike from NoFX. He did the musical Home Street Home, and that like got rave reviews, and we did the entire show up in San Francisco, and it like, you know, the pit band was myself on drums, and then Mark Orell from Dropkick Murphys on guitar, Chris Chaney from The Living End on the other guitar, and Jeff Refredo from Tiger Army and the Agrolites on bass. And then we had a music director named David O, who was playing piano and like was the MD for the whole thing. And so we're basically a part of this entire musical, and we got to be on stage for it. And like, I mean, that was just, that in and of itself was a trip. But here is where it got really nutty, was that, you know, I don't know if you know a lot about Fat Mike or if you're into his scene, but that dude got into some crazy BDSM stuff, and he got into some really crazy, like, you know, dressing like a chick kind of thing. And he liked to get dominated by his, I think, wife at the time, or partner. I don't know what you'd call it, but her name was Soma Snake Oil. And so he would rent out these like these spaces, and after the performances, we would go and we would get hammered, and we would basically watch him get dominated by his chick on stage. Like, he would be in a green thong and a gas mask, and he was getting set on fire, and like his nipples pinched, and he was getting hit in the face and like spanked on the ass. And we're sitting there drinking martinis, like with a full open bar and food, and we're just watching like BDSM shows. That to me was absolutely insane.
How do you straight face shit like that? And just like, like drinking or what? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I know, right? Like you're trying to look, kind of like observing it, like, oh yeah, oh really interesting. Oh, there he is. Yeah, he's getting his nipples pinched right now. Oh, they're putting ice on his balls. Oh, that, yeah, okay, Like, I mean, you're not really, but like you don't have to be straight faced, like, because you're just watching that happen, and you're like, okay, you're looking around at everyone else, going, wow, like this is just a whole other lifestyle. Like, all right,
that's hilarious, man. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that sounds like all you people in LA are Satanists.
It really
like...
does sound like that, doesn't it?
sounds like it, man. All shape-shifting reptilians too, right? Yeah.
I wish, like, I was hoping, like, I'm still hoping for, some giant alien takeover to like just slap everyone in the face and be like, oh, surprise, this is what's been happening the whole time. Like, woo. I would be so happy for like something else other than boring planet Earth. Like, like, come on, dude, give it to me. Give me werewolves. Give me like aliens. Give me like, something like super gnarly. Because I mean, that's exactly why people are getting into BDSM. It's because they're bored of like planet Earth just like not being everything we want it to be.
No, I think that's true. I think like stories like that make life exciting. Like it's like the theory of true rumor. Like lies make life more exciting, because like life's just like, oh, what'd you do today? I'm like, oh, I consumed food and I consumed things, and I saved the coupons to consume more things. It's like that's basically all. I mean, nobody's really doing shit. It's like it's just weird.
Yeah, that's all we do is consume, and then like we want more, or then we're bored of consuming, so then we like pretend like we're good people and like we meditate or something, or like we pretend we're philanthropists, or like whatever. We try to be good, but we're kind of a lost cause at this point, I think.
That's hilarious.
I mean, if you want to be honest about how I feel about it, I'm like, yeah, we're just like a lost cause. I don't know.
I think the media makes it look like that, but I think like people are just calmly existing, The world looks crazy if you like listen to people that tell us that, but I don't know. So
yeah,
hasn't really affected me.
Yeah.
Well, this interview's going great, right? Like the best. Is this the best interview you've probably ever been on? Like,
I would say that like 10 out of 10. This is a good like 11.5. Like,
I was saying that too. This is like all. If you're listening to the show for the first time, don't bother listening to the other episodes, because this is the best episode so far.
Dude, you're so funny. You're like, yeah, I was thinking that too. Right on. All
right. That's hilarious, man. Like, so, are there like, could you just try out for these bands? Or do they find out about you, or like, what is the thing? Like, you just seem like you're like a talented. I've seen you play drums on like a lot of bands. Like, you seem awesome. Is that enough, or is it networking too, or like?
So it's, I mean, honestly, playing. You got to be a good player. Like, don't fuck around. Like, I say, quoted from the famous Homstar on homestarrunner.com. He says, "Don't fake the funk on a nasty dunk." Like, like if you're gonna do this, like, don't rely on networking. Don't rely on like, I don't know, bumping elbows with fucking people. Like, I've seen bad players, and like, they're lucky if they get a gig, but like that's not gonna keep getting you gigs. Like at this point, my resume speaks for itself, at least in the rock genre. Like, I've got a lot that I still want to accomplish, like so much that I still want to accomplish, but you can't fake it and have it happen to you more than once. I think
that's a good point.
And so like, I mean, dude, like right before I got off the phone with you, I played gigs all weekend, And right before I got on this podcast with you, I just finished sweating in my garage because I don't have air conditioning in the garage, slowly practicing, like deathly slow, like to the point where my girlfriend, she's like, sounds like you're being patient in there. I'm like, yeah, like, you know, and she's a musician too, so she gets it. And she's like, sounds like you're being patient. I'm like, you know, practicing is the way to go. I practice all the time. And like, a good teacher once told me, you know, he said, fall in love with the discipline of your craft, because once you do that, then like you're already enjoying yourself through like what should be difficult shit, or what should be, you know, kind of like what makes most people quit.
That's a super honest answer. I could tell. Yeah, that's crazy. You know, I could picture that and stuff. Like, you were telling me on like Instagram, so you have like like you had a crazy story about Smash Mouth playing like during like the pandemic or something. I think I just remember
that. Yeah. So I mean,
hey guys, this episode is sponsored by Hemperbox. Hemperbox is a subscription-based, I guess, marijuana accessory company. It's really cool though. So I think the subscription is like $33 a month, and you get at least $100 worth of like awesome stuff, like bongs and papers and filters and lighters and just a lot of cool stuff and accessories that you'll like, and it changes every month. So you should go look up Hemperbox and get a subscription, man.
Like, I thought you were saying that.
What better place to air this out than right here with you right now? No, man. So like, you know, yeah, Smash Mouth did the Sturgis gig during the pandemic, and I accepted the gig because the other drummer for the gig, his name is Randy Cook, and he is like just one of my all-time favorite people on the whole planet. And he, you know, he's a bit older than me, but he's like one of the best drummers in the entire universe. And so he was just looking after his health, and he knew that this was going to be a risky gig, and that, like, you know, through the pandemic, he wanted to stay home. And so he did. And so I accepted a few gigs from Smash Mouth during that time, one of them being Sturgis. And this was awesome, at a time. Actually. Yeah. Like, you know, and like drumming is all I know, and taking opportunities is all I know, and I don't have a backup plan, and I don't have enough money in investments to, like, you know, be coasting through the pandemic. Like, it completely wiped me out, you know, like it wiped out my savings. It wiped out everything I had. So like, you know, yes, I'm gonna take a fucking gig. And like, so I do it, and, you know, like, motherfuckers who aren't even there at the gig are on, they're doing their keyboard warrior thing. Like, you know, these are people that I know, and that like I've been friends with, and that like I'm friends with their wives, and like, you know, and these people are like, oh, Smash Mouth should be ashamed of themselves for doing this gig. They should be ashamed. Like, you know, this is the reason that the pandemic is going to last longer than blah blah blah. Like, and meanwhile, they don't even know what like the gig was actually like, you know, like how the musicians were treated, and how like backstage was like basically looked like the scene from E.T. where everybody's wearing like a big white, you know, like suit, like hazmat suits, and like, you know, sanitizing everything. And like, we had no contact with the crowd, like zero contact with the crowd whatsoever. Like not even anywhere near anybody who wasn't wearing a mask. We were required to wear masks at all times. And like, it was, you know, I mean, dude, the guy who runs Sturgis, like his entire reputation was on the line. And, you know, obviously, like, he can't speak for all the people that didn't wear masks out in the crowd at Sturgis, but like, we had nothing to do with them. And the stage was like, you know, light years away from these fucking knuckleheads. And so, like, you know, and I've got people trying to put me on blast and trying to put the musicians on blast, and they just, you know, didn't know enough about it. And like, lo and behold, here we are, like, with restrictions lifted and everything is fine. And like, it's just, you know, like, I couldn't believe that, you know, these people were out there trying to shame me and my crew for like trying to make an honest living through unprecedented times, you know. And like, I was just like, I think you guys can go fuck yourselves, and I don't have to apologize for anything. And like, I hope that they listen to this because like, yeah, it's just like it was a total bummer to see like, people doing that shit.
Yeah. So it sounds like super LA, like just like
it totally sounds LA. You're
yeah.
absolutely right.
Yeah, like if you like I'm in the middle of the United States and like literally like you didn't even know like other than St. Louis you didn't really even notice like there's a pandemic like they're like I was eating like buffets and shit. I didn't give a fuck like fuck that shit, it's like
yeah.
No, my dad's actually going to Sturgis this year. Like it's funny that was at Sturgis. Like he was telling me that he's like he rides like motorcycles and shit and like said he's going out there this summer.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's crazy. Yeah, but I don't understand how people like get emotional about like people trying to pay their bills and shit too. It's like
it's like, hey, you know what? Like you do you. Like maybe it's because they wish they got the Smash Mouth gig. I don't fucking know. Like you want to be a background singer on a Smash Mouth gig? Like I'm sorry, and so
they're like you're not hiding under your coffee table like me. Like you're not hiding under your kitchen table like me. Like I don't know.
Right.
Being scared's like not like I don't know, just like everybody was so scared, man. It's hilarious. Like in major cities, like it just made me laugh. I don't know. It's like just I don't know. It's not the tragedy of it's not like funny, but like the aspect of like just thinking that like you could do things to stop things from happening. I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah. Like if Smash Mouth didn't do that gig, and it's funny because Buckcherry actually did the same gig.
That's funny.
But I wasn't with him at the time. It's like if Smash Mouth didn't take that, then no other band would have, or what? Like, or what? Like Sturgis wouldn't happen, and like, dude, all these crazy inflated numbers. Like, I was on the more conservative side of like, yeah, okay, like I won't go out, I'll wear a mask, like, I'll do what the CDC guidelines say. Like when I'm home, I'll do everything that I got to do to make sure that I'm safe and to follow the rules. Cause like, I just don't want to be that asshole. Cause like, I don't know if you saw, but people that were out there, like, with this whole like no mask agenda or like, being like absolutely crazy on the other side of that, like those people just looked like total animals. And you're just like, okay, relax, dude. Like we're all trying to get through this, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to listen to doctors like over you. But at the same time, I wasn't going to be like deathly afraid.
I think both sides looked really stupid. Like honestly, and I just like live my life exactly the same way. I feel like one side's like Bill Gates is microchipping me, and the other side's like I believe everything. I believe the entire agenda. My government wouldn't lie to me, and both just seem retarded to me. It's like the answer's always somewhere in the middle. It's like there's circumstances maybe a mask would be like a hospital or something, and there's other circumstances where it wouldn't. It's just dumb, It's like it just depends on. I mean, everything's so fucking gray, dude. It's like
I mean, dude, when you're talking about a virus that like nobody knew about
or still knows about, we know nothing about this shit.
Yeah, or still knows about. It's just like, exactly. Like I'm going to still follow the guys who are closest to it. I'm going to listen to scientists because they're the closest to it. Like, but at the same time, like I'm not going to live completely in fear, and I'm not going to act like, that like I'm not allowed to make a living while, like everything is tanking. Like, go fuck yourself.
Right, now it's survival at that point, like feeding yourself and stuff, man. Like, and that's crazy. I mean, it's kind of funny that like that was the problem people had, Like, it's like they're just like I feel like people were so scared and sitting at home and just taking their aggression on everybody, and like I don't know, being mad doesn't necessarily make you a rule maker. I think Americans need to realize. But, like just being upset doesn't magically make well now because you don't like. I mean, just imagine like me just being like I disagree with stop signs. Like, it's like I disagree with this stop sign. It offends me as a whatever the fuck victim, and then so I can just go through every fucking stop sign, It's like it's just so fucking dumb. It's like if that's the rules we're playing, I mean, like we can take advantage of that too. It's just not how society works.
Dude, I love how you said I disagree with this stop sign as a whatever the fuck victim.
That's basically what it is, though. It's like the big like the crybaby Olympics, man. It's like whoever like is the saddest person in the room like makes rules based on their complaints. Like basically,
yeah.
It's like insane. It's like insane.
Yeah.
Like I'm like we should. I don't know. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like I feel like I woke up in like a parallel dimension sometime, like a couple months ago.
I know, and I think we're making our way back from that, and I'm gonna say that Bill Cosby being released is kind of a bit of a catalyst to being like, okay,
be mad about this, not us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, okay, are we gonna get back to like, you know, the good old '90s? Like, I don't know. I kind of miss the '90s at this point. You know,
it makes me nostalgic for any other year. Like basically, well, I don't know. It's just crazy. It's been a crazy time, man. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
People like we all went through some like heavy trauma together with like this daily media. You know, just like being like, you're gonna die. Everyone you know dying. Numbers. Graphics.
Yeah. And you know, like I got what is it? You know, I was driving on my way to a 4th of July gig, and you know, we've got those you know, those like light up billboards that are like from the Caltrans. I guess I don't know what your version of it would be, but like, you know, just like signs that say like don't drink and drive.
Yeah.
For this holiday, or like
it'd be MoDOT here in Missouri. It's the same thing. MoDOT. Like.
Yeah. Okay, so this one it said 6,987 people, or 6,987 deaths in 2020. Like, don't drive drunk. And I'm just like, man, like everybody is so in love with like statistics. And I mean, you know, listen, I love statistics, but I'm just like, enough with like trying to scare the shit out of people. Like,
I'm actually pro drinking and driving because it kills poor people.
Oh my God.
Actually, yeah, I'm for it. I don't know. That's my stance.
You're for drinking and driving?
Yeah.
Man.
That's not said enough, man. I was joking.
That's just the craziest thing I've ever heard anyone say, I think.
Yeah. I can make that joke because I'm poor. Like it's I can make that joke.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. So, like, where do you see yourself going from here, man? Like, obviously, you've done a lot of shit. Like, you seem like you're still ambitious. Like, where do you kind of see yourself going? Like, as far as like career wise, like, where do you see like the next step or whatever?
Yeah. So, really, to be super blunt about it, I just want to find ways to make really good music. And I don't like, I think I've learned my lesson as far as clinging to the industry to try to make a living from it. Because that's what I did, because like, I mean, that's what got me as many opportunities as I got. But I want to be home with like my family more, and I want to be like, you know, around for important events, like for my parents and for my little brother and for like all kinds of things that I missed a lot being on tour, and I missed a lot by sacrificing the amount of time it took to like prepare songs and shed, which I'm still going to do. And like, I still want to travel with like big acts. I would love to be a big act myself in some way. But I just want to have more control over it. And so like, you know, I love my girlfriend and my soon to be stepkids, you know, and like, I want to be here for that. So it's going to be some amalgamation of like, you know, practicing my ass off and like writing music and, you know, being selective about the gigs I take. I'll probably still play with Smash Mouth every now and then. And like, if I get offered something that I think is cool enough, I'll take it. But I just really love to play music, so I just want to find ways to do that. I don't know.
That seemed like really honest, man. That was awesome. Like, so I think a lot of people are like trying to be somebody else, but like that was just like your truth, you know. It's like I believed that when you said that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Shit, you know?
Yeah, I don't like people that are full of shit, and I don't like. I've tried to like rid myself of all of that.
Yeah, it's a waste of time for sure.
It totally is, and I'm just like watching people like, you know, kind of do their little song and dance, and but I can tell who's genuine about it and who like is just really trying to believe their own song and dance, and like
that's super real, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I definitely do.
You gotta believe it, and like you're just gonna go all out, and I don't know. I mean, like that's everybody's got their own path, you know, and like I don't know. I felt like I was probably full of shit for a minute, you know, but at the same time, I was still just like trying to make people laugh genuinely. Because like I was always kind of an asshole kid growing up, but that's because I was like too smart for my own good, you know, and so like. It's just I had no idea what the music industry was like. I had no family in the music industry, and so like I probably was full of shit for a certain amount of time because I thought that's what you had to do. I thought you had to be a douchebag to be in the music industry, or to be in any entertainment industry. But like you actually kind of don't. So I'm glad.
It's the weird opposite, man. So it's like the people that are douchebags don't last. Like typically, nobody wants to hang out with them or work with them or anything like that. Like it's weird.
Yeah, they're burning bridges left and right because they're fucking assholes.
Yeah, and that's the way it's presented to like just basic like fans of like art too. It's like it's presented like that to us as kids. Like oh, the assholes are funny and shit. You know, I mean, I still laugh at shit like that. I still laugh at but it's like if you do that all the time, like you're not gonna go anywhere.
Right. But like, you know, people that really believe in their own brand, they're gonna take it to the grave, and it's just gonna be like, wow, like that guy was just a consummate douchebag, you know, like that's pretty amazing actually.
I like when Andy Kaufman did that. He like just dressed up as another character and fucked with everybody. Like he just like did like this like Tony Clifton character. He just like trolled everybody.
Man, yeah, I love stuff like that. Like who would be like a recent day Andy Kaufman? Like who's the closest to that?
I think Jim Carrey thinks he is, but I don't know. Like he fell into that arm.
Too. Maybe like Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, with that whole like I'm not here movie or whatever the fuck he did. Like
yeah, or like he got a beard and like became a rapper or something, right?
Yeah, I think he was trying to do that, and like everybody laughed at him. He's like, "Yeah, it's a joke, guys." It's like, no, for real, it's a joke. You're right. You know, I think like I felt like he was like trying to be serious with that though.
I know. I always feel like that guy is just really kind of always trying to be serious. You know, like I felt like his best character was like in Gladiator, I think.
Oh wow, that was a good movie.
It was a good movie, but like I looked at him and I'm like, man, I don't know. I really believe you. Like, are you this guy? Like, are you?
Honestly, yeah, I can see that.
Sometimes when a guy like gets chosen for a character, you're like, But yeah.
Yeah, that dude's done some legendary shit. Like, I mean, like, having a talented brother gets you really far in this industry.
Oh! Yeah, dude. I know. Well, I mean, it's kind of true though. Like,
it's just fun talking shit. I hope everybody's successful. It's just fun busting balls, man.
No. I mean, clearly he's talented, but that goes back to what we were talking about. You know, like what gets you far in the industry is, you know, like I mean. Being a genuine person makes you genuine friends. Having family in the industry definitely gets your foot in the door. You know,
I wouldn't blame him anyway. I wouldn't blame anybody for that. You know, it's like,
are you kidding?
Yeah, if I had a talented brother, I'd be all over. I'd be like Chris Farley's brother. You know, just like he's like toured as a comedian because Chris Farley was so funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd do the same shit though. I'd be like, oh no, I'm with him. Yeah, I'm with that. I'm with that guy.
But I can't really think of like a modern day Andy Kaufman.
Like, I can't either.
Really. And that
Tom Green, maybe.
Tom Green, yeah.
Like 90s Tom Green.
Yeah.
But not full Andy Kaufman. Andy Kaufman was so crazy. Like he was. Yeah. He was just like grabbing live events and making them his own. Like he was just doing his own. He was grabbing live TV and just making his own thing, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, like Tom Green was like, "Does everybody like me yet?" Like he's like, "Please like me. I'm sucking on cow udders, dude. Like please like me." We're like,
shit. That's so true. That's so true.
You know?
Yeah, dude. That's crazy. Desperate, like for. That's crazy.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm kind of glad for this. Like I'm not. Okay. Let me rephrase. I'm not glad that a pandemic happened because, I mean, like everybody has been suffering tremendously. Like whether you suffered a loss yourself, like in your family or whatever. But at the same time, like there is so much perspective to be gained from such a tragic and like long-lived moment, you know, like I saw a shirt the other day that said like I'm sick of living in unprecedented times. You know, like it's like, wow, all this stuff is happening, and yeah, it's gonna look cool in history books, but dude, like this fucking sucks. Like it's not cool. But at the same time, like, you know, yeah, we gained so much perspective, and it gave everyone a chance. Like, you remember how I think it was like, I listened to a lot of NPR because I'm crazy into National Public Radio. But like, they were talking about how they were expecting to see this big boom in jobs coming back, but like, you know, it's like the same guy who was working at Del Taco really didn't feel like showing up at Del Taco, and really, like, you know, took a second to reestablish himself or herself, like, you know, and be like, maybe I should go back to school. Maybe I shouldn't be working at Del Taco anymore. Like, even if my job opened back up, you know?
Yeah, I really hate that these people woke up, because it's hard to get fast food past like 9 p.m. now. It's just like,
bro, I know. It just happened to me last night. Like,
yeah.
I was at Del Taco after a gig, and like these people in front of me were screaming at the only two people that were working at Del Taco that night, because everybody was waiting like 30 minutes to get their food.
I tip those people. If there's only two people working, I'll tip them like $5-10 or something like that. I'm nice. Those people are heroes. Those people actually are. Like, we say everybody's a hero, but if you're keeping like in my case, Taco Bell out here, Del Taco's good out there, man. But like, I like Taco Bell out here, man. Your Taco Bell sucks. California's Taco Bell sucks. So everybody's Del Taco for sure. But it's actually good out here. It's actually good in the country. Like, it's like these people actually try hard and make good food. But in St. Louis, it sucked too. But no, I do the same thing. Like, I'll go through. I thank them. I'm like, they're like, oh, we're out of this, and I'm like, okay, I'll take this. And like, okay, we have that. I'm like, all right. And I thank them. I'm like, thank you so much for showing up to work today. Like, seriously, I thank you.
Yeah,
I fucking love fast food.
I really should have tipped them, man. I feel bad, and I want to do that next time, because yeah, they really are the heroes. Like, I mean, dude, because everywhere like that is so understaffed, you know? Like it's crazy. Even in our town, like, I live in Simi Valley, which is typically a pretty like conservative town, I'd say. And like everywhere you go, it's like, yeah, you've got the dude who owns the joint at the cash register, and then like one person making food.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's crazy. And then like they have to follow these crazy protocols. So like, I go in there and like, okay, so we can't like talk to people. We have to like not wear masks and like be so separate. But then like we all touch the same machine. I'm just like, what? Like, it's just like the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. Like, if the rules made sense, I'd follow them, but they just don't make sense. Like it's like they just, none of it. Like, even if it actually, I'm a critical thinker. I think, I don't know, of everything. And I'm just like, I watch it happen. I'm just like, these people just had no idea what they're doing. I was like, I watch friends like just put hand sanitizer on like 7 times a day and shit. I'm like, and their hands start swelling. I'm like, you fucking retards! Like, Jesus Christ. It's like, and they're just like putting bleach on everything. Like, man, they're like poisoning themselves, man. It's like fucking crazy.
Yeah. They're actually like dying from their attempts to completely cleanse themselves of an invisible virus.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. But I get it. I mean, fear shrinks the brain and like logic and all that stuff. It makes sense. It's just fucking crazy. I'm scared of certain shit too, just not bad, I guess. You know, it's like,
yeah. I'm scared of like anything that would make me not be able to play drums anymore. I think that's what scares me the most. Like losing my arms, or like, you know, having like some crazy disease that like shuts down my nervous system or something like that. That scares me, because all I want to do is like play music, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. That reminds me just like Hunter S. Thompson's like suicide note was like talking about like he like wrote like a poem like talking about how there's no more fun days and stuff, how he's like old and stuff, and then like just shot it. Like, it just reminds you like shit, like, just like you can't do what's fun anymore. Like what's it worth anymore? You know, it's like really like whatever you value is fun, really. You know, it's like. But right now it's fun. Like, I don't know, my 30s are awesome. Like, I don't know, it probably sucks later, but like the 90s probably start to suck. I don't know, but outside of that, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's a fun ride so far, man. I think like this. I think you brought up a good point talking about how people like just kind of thought about their life and during this time. And like, I think we're gonna see like a renaissance almost. Like, I'm kind of like optimistic for the future. And like, I think that like we're gonna see like all this art come out that like for people that are working 60 hours a week couldn't create, you know, and like all this like crazy shit, you know, just like people really like they found themselves again, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, like everybody can only beat themselves into the ground for so long, you know, before something's got to give. Like, you know, whether it be through a pandemic or through like some kind of revolution, you know, it's just like, yeah, this ain't gonna happen if inflation keeps going this way, but you're still paying me the same, and I still got to put up with your bullshit. Like, you know, we're just gonna die. Like, so, you know, it's time for something new. But At this point, I'm gonna go have a wonderful picnic with my lady.
Well, cool. Throw out any links or anything, any new promo you want first or anything.
I think my only real promo is probably just my Instagram, which is Sean R. Winchester.
Cool.
That's where you can keep up with what I'm doing.
Right now, follow me on Instagram if you're listening to this.
Thank you for watching or listening to this episode. And without great sponsors like DIY Gift Kits, this show, it couldn't exist. So go to DIYGiftKits.com and get an elderberry syrup kit and show your support for the show and innovative new companies. And get some delicious elderberry syrup.